All right, honestly, I really don't have anything funny to say for this intro because it's John frickin' Wick. Let's get into it. All right, so John Wick Chapter 4 is the fourth film in the John Wick franchise, and they deliver yet again. This is one of the most consistent action franchises out there, and they nailed it once again. I am so happy to say. So the story here is a continuation from the last one, where John Wick has been excommunicated again. It's been a while since I've seen the third one, but he's kind of on the run still. And he's trying to get back, his freedom from the High Table, the organization we keep hearing about in all these films that kind of run this underworld of hitmen and bounty hunters and stuff. So, hey, whatever. They continue to build on this mythology a lot, and I dig it. So he's trying to get his freedom. He essentially has to go up against this new threat who's like a spot below the High Table. He's got to deal with this dude played by Bill Skarsgard, and he has to essentially duel this guy for his freedom. That's the premise. So we know that that's what he's got to do, but of course, there's all these obstacles in his way, which just means he's going to kill literally everybody that shows up in this film, and it's awesome. I had so much fun. It was a blast watching this film. I do admit the story gets a little convoluted at times, but it does do some interesting stuff, like towards the second half of the film, just seamless, and chef's kiss. I think it was a great second half of the film. Let's start with the positives. Keanu Reeves is great again, as always, as John Wick. I'm not going to say he's the greatest actor in the world, but I love Keanu, and he's great as this character, and I dug everything about him in this. We get the classic lines, we get the classic gags, and he does a lot of killing, and it's so cool. It's so much fun. You get people returning back, like Laurence Fishburne comes back. You got Ian McShane back as the head of the Continental Hotel. Bill Skarsgard coming in, like I said earlier, he is kind of the villain in this film, and Bill Skarsgard is great. A lot of you might know him as Pennywise from the It franchise. I'm trying to think who else is in this. Donnie Yen's in this. Donnie Yen of Ip Man fame. He's also in Rogue One, for those of you who don't know. And his character in this is very reminiscent of his Rogue One character a little bit. I mean, they share one element, and I didn't know about this because I try not to watch the trailers too much because I was already excited about this. So I don't know if they sold in the marketing that he has a similarity with his Rogue One character or not. I'll just leave it at that. If you don't know about it, caught me a little off guard, but it was a cool angle they took with this character in the John Wick Chapter 4. So he's awesome in this. Everybody in this movie just slays. It's great. They're a lot of fun, and it's a great ride. The action is fantastic. The music is great. The cinematography is probably the best I've seen so far this year. The action choreography, everything, it all works. It's another standout John Wick film. That being said, my problems with this film is it is almost 3 hours long, and I'm not going to lie, there was a good stretch for about 10 to 15 minutes towards like the front half of the film that I was kind of bored, because I think it starts off, you get about 10 to 15 minutes, I feel like, of just kind of build up, because then Chapter 3, it just kicked right off with an action set piece for like 15 minutes, and it was awesome. This one, though, it kind of takes its time to get to that point, which is fine, and I liked the build-up, and once you get to an action scene in this movie, it goes for 10-15 minutes, and it's incredible, and they do a great job coordinating all that. But there is kind of between a big action set piece and the next action set piece towards the beginning of the film, there is a lull kind of in between there that I kind of almost nodded off. But after that, I was back in, and I was all into this movie, and I thought it was fantastic at that point. Some other negatives, some of the CGI is, there's a scene in particular, a great set piece, by the way, but just some of the CG kind of, I won't say it wasn't bad. I mean, there's no bad CGI in this, but it just kind of didn't really work for me, just in terms of just like, I mean, it worked. I think the scene worked, but I just think in terms of just like, all right, yep, CGI car, CGI car, CGI car, yep, CGI car. Okay, cool. So it was just kind of like one of those things. So not a big deal. I do feel like there are some story stuff that they could have trimmed out, and it wouldn't have really affected this film all that much. This runtime definitely didn't need to be 2 hours and 46 minutes, whatever it ended up being, somewhere in that range. They retread some stuff in this film, and I think some plot stuff got a little convoluted, so I think they could have trimmed some stuff down, simplified it a little bit, and we could have just been on our merry way, and I don't think it would have made that big of a difference. But, you know, every fight scene is a little more interesting than the last, which is, back to the positives, so much fun, and I had, you know, a great time with this. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. That's what's making it hard. I'm dancing around a lot of the great stuff about this. But, you know, if you're already invested in the John Wick franchise, I don't need to tell you that this is another great installment of it. And I want to see more from this franchise, you know, regardless if it's spin-offs, John Wick himself, what have you. I want to see it all. The Continental TV series, bring it to me. I'm there for it. But yeah, so a great entry in the film, not a great entry into the franchise. But for me, definitely not the best John Wick film. I think that it might be my second or third favorite of the bunch. I just feel like it kind of lacked a little bit of, not ingenuity, but it just didn't quite do a couple of things that I think would have made it top the bar. It like kept hitting the bar, maybe a couple points that raised the bar a little bit. But on the whole, it was kind of not same old, but it was like, yep, this is John Wick, and it's great. And, you know, I laughed, I got really into it, and it did its job. So it's not a bad thing. I do think this is a quite enjoyable film. The story is there. There is a actual good story in this, albeit, like I said, a little convoluted. But with that being said, my grade for this, as I'm kind of all scatterbrained, I'm so excited. I seriously feel like I got a sugar rush for watching this film. But my grade for this is a B+. I do think it's been overhyped. Maybe that's why I am a little let down. And by let down, I'm really not. I got everything I pretty much wanted out of this. It just didn't, you know, live up to a lot of the hype. I think people are overhyping it. But I think it's exactly what you would want out of a John Wick movie. It's not the greatest of the franchise. It's not the greatest action movie ever. But it's up there. It's a lot of fun. You know, it's probably my second favorite film of the year so far. We'll see how that holds up as the year goes on. I kind of want to revisit this again and see it a second time. Like I said, there's a lot of plot stuff that, you know, they throw at you that, you know, there's so many names and titles and the way the organizations work that I was kind of lost at a couple points. I think I kind of got the gist of a lot of what was going on, but they throw a lot at you. I mean, for a 2-hour, 40-minute runtime, they throw a lot at you. But other than for that little lull, I didn't feel the length at all, which is great. I think the editing, the pacing, everything worked. You know, if you're there for the cast, you know, you're going to get a great showing out of it. Of course, I do want to mention, we recently had the passing of Laurence, who plays the concierge in the John Wick films. It's, you know, a bummer to see him pass. And in this film, you know, he delivers again. He's great in the film. He will be missed. So yeah, guys, go check this film out. It's a lot of fun. It's enjoyable. Probably one of the best action films you see this year. So yeah, support the film. I mean, if you love John Wick, you're gonna support it. So yeah, guys. Anyway, what do you guys think? Are you gonna go see John Wick Chapter 4? What are your thoughts on the John Wick franchise as a whole? Leave your thoughts and comments down below. If you could also hit that like button, subscribe button. The little bell notification helps me out. And it notifies you whenever I drop new videos. Not sure what the next movie is. I'm excited. There's a couple coming out in the next couple weeks. So, you know, we're still rolling. March has been a great month for movies, I think. So let's keep the train rolling. And until next time, guys, I'll be seeing you.